players on this roster. But when you look at these three right here, they have to carry the load. They have gone to the top of the scouting report.
Wes Moore now in his 10th season in charge of NC State. Lisa Bluter, year number 23 in her home state. Grew up in Marion, Iowa. And some high expectations for this Iowa team. Monica Sinano, who was the running partner for Caitlin Clark, coming back using her final year of eligibility because this Iowa team wanted to do something special. Both of these teams have something in common. They have both lost to UConn this year. Iowa also falling at Kansas State just after an overtime win against Drake. And here's Sinano. Led the country in field goal percentage a couple of years in a row. Clark, who we assume will see a lot of different defenders, does something she's really good at, that's drawing fouls and getting to the line.
Yeah, I think she's done a much better job through the end of last season into this season at finding ways to get to the line. Great scorers find different ways to get the ball in the bucket, and Caitlin Clark does such a good job of attacking in the ISO. Wes Moore talked today in shoot around at length. We have to be able to help, whether it's Caitlin Clark or Monica Sinano inside, and we have to be able to recover quickly.
Caitlin Clark, on average, gets to the line 9 times a game, and she's really good once she gets there at 79%. Knocks them both down to get Iowa out to the quick 2-0 lead. This is only the 4th time these two teams have met. The first time it has not been on a neutral site. Jada Boyd, one of the experienced players you talked about in the open with the miss. Here's Sinano quickly getting it up to Clark. Talked to Clark at shoot around today. She was a little stuffy, a little congestion going on, but she's ready to go. Warnock with the miss. Kate Martin, after the Sinano pass, wasn't able to bring it home. And now Diamond Johnson, who was so terrific coming off the bench last year, now in the starting role.
Yeah, I don't think you can wait to pick up Diamond Johnson at the three-point line on her offensive end of the floor. I think you've got to find a way to get a body in front of her early, but she was that spark off the bench for Wes Moore a year ago. Could have been a starter probably at any time, but now in that role and is embracing that role.
Leading the team in those 3 categories. Last year, Wes Moore said Diamond Johnson was indeed his 6th starter. Wore number 0 last year, but now wearing number 3, which was Kai Crutchfield's number. Kai, one of those 4 starters who has moved on.
You think about those 4 starters, and it was remarkable to see that it was only 50% of their offense, right? Had a lot of players come off the bench that gave production. Diamond Johnson, one of them. Jada Boyd, another.
Yes, it was surprising. I honestly thought it would be more like 75 or 80%, but that does show and speak to the depth of this team and how much Johnson, who was the 2nd leading scorer last year, contributed off the bench. Kia Brown-Turner, who's a good perimeter defender, but Caitlin Clark just shook her off like she was dust.
I mean, that's the thing about Caitlin Clark, is that she is so savvy in understanding how to create space, how to use her body, how to use a different dribble cadence.
Boyd, nothing doing. Clark coming up with the rebound. Head up as always. Stops, shoots, well off the mark. She thought she was fouled by Hayes. And now Johnson with the full head of steam. Gabby Marshall stepped in the way. This Iowa group has played together for several years.
I think you got to look to get Sinano a touch. She didn't get a lot of touches against UConn. 8 points in that ball game. I think you got to find a way to get her going early.
Martin crashes to the floor. Madison Hayes patiently sitting on the bench last year with so much talent ahead of her, now in the starting lineup. Clark, all she needs is about 1 millimeter of space.
And the step back. So she's bringing it down the floor, and you have to respect her ability to get to the rim, and she gets that step back and the shot off so quickly.
And right now the score is Caitlin Clark 7, NC State 1. Boyd looking inside to Camille Hobby, who backed up Elisa Cunane the last couple of years. She is tied up by Warnock.
Well, the ball going inside to Hobby, and a really good job of Warnock of just coming in and giving that help in the double team.
Sub Sydney Afalter, the sophomore, coming in to spell Kate Martin early on for Iowa. There she is, number 3. Sonano still without a shot attempt. Warnock misses from the outside, but Sonano hunts it. Clark left a little bit short. Brown Turner calling for it. Her 3 is well off the mark. NC State 0 for 5 from the floor.
Well, we know Caitlin Clark can fill it up, and what I like is that she's doing it in a lot of different ways. This time she comes off of the on-ball screen. She knows the defender's going to be chasing, uses the shot fake, and here just creating space. How quickly she gets from one point to another, and the ability to stretch away from the defense is incredible. And you know, oftentimes you think about great scorers and it's either catch and shoot or it's off the bounce, and she can be both.
And you see the numbers. They actually go up when she plays against top 10 teams. She got 9.
And Pam, I think that this year I've seen Caitlin Clark get to the rim already more so and more consistently than in the past, and that keeps her defense honest.
I agree. She seems to be going off the bounce a lot more. River Baldwin, the Florida State transfer, gets into the game and scores the first points for the Pack. Baldwin has been a big pickup for Westmore.
You can't just guard her from the three-point line, and I'm sure that if you're Westmore, you would rather have 2s than 3s, but the help defense, the rotation has to be there.
Concern for Coach Moore. We talked about all the new starters. He says there's still very much a work in progress, trying to mesh offensively as well as defensively. So many, not necessarily new faces, but certainly new roles. Different and more minutes. O'Grady just came in to give Sonano a rest, and she is tied up. Possession arrow sends it to NC State.
You've got new roles, you've got new players coming into the system, River Baldwin being one of them, and she's been coming on as of late. You know, River Baldwin's a player we saw a lot of last year in the ACC, and she looks like she's in the best shape that she's been in of her career, and over the last 4 games, she's been really good.
Boyd with the miss. Clark, guarded by Johnson. We've been working on posting up Caitlin Clark against smaller guards, but she pulled it out that time. Thought about pulling the trigger. Bounce pass to O'Grady, who draws contact. Caitlin Clark with all 9 of Iowa's points as we hit a timeout.
We need your help. I need your help. We need money for research. It may not save my life. It may save my children's lives. It may save someone you love. And it's very important.
It is V Week at ESPN. We partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for game-changing cancer research that helps save lives. You can join the fight against cancer. Visit v.org/donate. 100% of your donation, every penny, goes directly to cancer research. And we proudly partner with this every year for that foundation. Here's O'Grady at the line.
Caitlin Clark outscoring NC State, 1 for 8 from the floor for the Wolfpack. Really struggling to get something going offensively. And that's going to be the challenge for this team. We mentioned in the open, you shoot to the top of everybody's scouting report. You're no longer a complimentary player. How can you respond? How can you find ways to continue to impact? And that's one way. Get Jada Boyd a touchdown low.
Boyd is shooting very well from the floor this year. As in her career, 60% last year for NC State, just below that right now. Molly Davis, transfer. Warnock was left open, didn't look at the hoop. Davis with the miss. Warnock, who is one of those valuable kind of, you know, Swiss Army knife kind of players.
She is definitely a utility player, can play multiple positions, do multiple things for this Iowa team. I mean, she's a player who, whatever is needed at any moment, can bring it. And Sanaya Rivers, another transfer from South Carolina. She's somebody that Westmore talks about, can give you really good minutes, likes her in a point guard and a wing position.
Clark with the miss. Warnock tapped it, but it could not be saved in by NC State. 21st Annual Women's Jimmy V Classic this Sunday on ESPN2. Number 9, Virginia Tech goes to Tennessee. 1 Eastern, noon Central. Then on ABC, Notre Dame, who just lost to Maryland, takes on UConn at the Joyce Center. And remember, you can donate the V Foundation for Cancer Research at v.org/donate. Some great basketball continuing to come your way. And there's a freshman, remember this name, Hannah Stokey.
Yeah, Lisa Bluder really speaking highly of Hannah Stokey and saying we have to find more ways to get her minutes, and it really is trying to figure out what does the rotation look like. Does she come in at the 4? Does she come in at the 5? How can you get her touches when she does? Because she's very good off the bounce.
They were just playing out the Phil Knight tournaments in Portland. As Marshall missed, and in both of the games, she only played single-digit minutes, and Coach Bluder said, yeah, that's on us. That's on the coaching staff. And as you mentioned, they're trying to get her more playing time. A much decorated player from up the road in Cedar Rapids.
A lot of settling right now for NC State. On long-range jumpers, not getting touches inside. You see that double team is coming on the block, but get it out, get it to the backside, and attack.
Stokey does not shoot a lot of threes. Trying to get it into Sonano. She still has not gotten a shot off. Does have 5 rebounds. Sonano and Clark combining for half of Iowa's scoring, and that is another assist for Clark as she finds the freshman.
And that's Stokey again, running in transition. Lisa Bluder talks about her. She's so aggressive. She's aggressive to the boards. She's aggressive to the rim. There you see her rim running.
Diamond Johnson quiets the crowd just for a second. They've sold a lot of season tickets. And another Clark to Stokey connection.
I think Westmore is going to have to use another timeout here. I know he's going to try to weather this storm, but he was on his team in shoot-around today about their energy level, about their attention to detail. You can't celebrate on a make. Iowa's going to bring it right down the floor, and there was no communication in transition defense.
Baldwin able to get a shot off. They're not getting any offensive rebounds when they do miss. That's a lot of contact on Clark, who was a little cranky until they finally called the foul.
Cranky?
Yeah.
What is that? What is that? Cranky. But this is Caitlin Clark in transition. Great look. Rim run by Stokey, and then again in transition, finds the open player. Stokey just gets loose. There's a miscommunication in defensive transition, and Iowa will make you pay every time.
Well, Clark gets a little bit of a break, so that puts Molly Davis at the point. The giveaway results in 2 points, and Rivers, who you just mentioned, played her freshman year at South Carolina. Only played about 13 minutes a game, but a backup point, very athletic. Will blend in more and more as the season goes along. Sonano.
And that's uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
That's uncharacteristic of Sonano inside. For the ball to go through her hands, I think it's a good look. If you're Iowa, you've got to continue to find ways to get touches. We mentioned 8 points on only 3 of 7 from the floor against Connecticut.
No points for Sonano so far, averaging over 17 per game. Johnson.
No field goal attempts even.
Yeah, not even a shot attempt.
I like the middle screen and roll with Diamond Johnson. She is really dynamic off of that. She can score it, she can facilitate. I think NC State has to continue to find ways to get towards the rim, get downhill.
All right, so the shot clock is off. Caitlin Clark is not on the floor. Sonano's first attempt is short. She has been working to lengthen her shooting range. And the Iowa Hawkeyes, thanks to 9 points by Caitlin Clark, also has a couple of rebounds and 2 assists, lead NC State by 4 after 1 quarter.
Well, we know Caitlin Clark can light it up, and she's been terrific already early in this ball game. 9 quick points, knocking it down from 3, creating space for herself. But Pam, a year ago, she led the country not only in points, but in assists, and she's done a really good job, particularly in transition, of finding her open teammates. Hannah Stokey being the recipient a couple of times, and I like best that she is now attacking the paint, getting to the free throw line more, getting 2 feet into paint, staying on balance.
Pam Ward and Stephanie White joining you from Iowa City. This is the ACC Big Ten Challenge. Iowa leading 17-13, but they got off to the 9-1 start. Caitlin with all 9 points, but since then, NC State with a nice run, hit 5 of their last 8 to close out the first quarter and get close. The headline here is Monica Sonano not only hasn't scored, but hasn't taken a shot. She's good.
She is, and again, I go back to, you know, we fall in love with the logo threes, and there were times earlier in her career where she settled for that. But now scoring on all 3 levels, and it just makes her even tougher to guard. And Pam, we talked to her earlier today at shoot-around too, because she's stronger. And she said that I'm more physical, I can last longer in the ball game. She knows she's going to take everybody's best shot, but you just see how easy she creates space.
She certainly makes it look easy. Mimi Collins, number 2 in red, has checked in for NC State, former Maryland Terrapin. Another newcomer on this club for the Pack.
Well, the physicality inside. Monica Sonano trying to get position, and you can see her and River Baldwin really going at it inside.
Baldwin called for the foul. This was a concern for Lisa Bluter, stopping NC State in transition. And they like to hit threes in transition. Brown Turner gets on the score sheet. And it's a 3-point ball game. Caitlin Clark makes it a 5-point ball game.
We did the Steph Curry comparison in the open, but like Steph Curry, she never stops moving. And that's a sign of a great offensive player. You never stop moving. You continue to find open areas.
Johnson open for 3.
And this is good. NC State starting to knock down some shots. They started at the end of that first quarter, getting into the paint, getting some easy ones, now stretching it out to 3.
15 straight games now. Johnson has hit at least 1 3. That goes back to last year. Around the horn, Gabby Marshall left open. Kate Martin could not corral the rebound for Iowa.
Great ball movement right here. Movement without the ball by Caitlin Clark. And Diamond Johnson from the 3-point line on the skip pass against the zone. Shot ready, knocks it down.
Johnson, incredible from 3 this year. Over 50% from distance for Diamond. Coming into this game, 21 of 40 from 3. And Sonano really trying to get some space, now guarded by Hobby, who sets a screen for Clark. Step back 3, no good. And the smallest player on the floor, Johnson, gets the rebound. Rivers running.
I like Sanaya Rivers and Diamond Johnson on the floor together. Rivers does such a good job of getting out in transition. Diamond Johnson has her head up and finds her.
Tie ball game. Rivers had it taken away by Gabby Marshall and committed the foul. This is the first tie of the game. NC State on an 8-2 run. The inaugural Basketball Hall of Fame London showcases Sunday from O2 Arena. Michigan takes on number 19 Kentucky. Coverage starts at 1 Eastern, 6 local time in London on ABC and the ESPN app. We're not doing that game, right? No.
Why not? That'd be all right.
I'm free. It's not cheap. Rivers committed the foul. Last play. Now Iowa's starting to give the ball away. Johnson inside to Collins. Caitlin Clark thought she made a good defensive play, but instead committed her first personal foul.
Lisa Bluter was also concerned about that defensive transition, and there Mimi Collins is open, and it sure does look like that was all ball.
That was...
It's the demonstrative arm coming down, probably what the official saw, but that was all ball.
It was a nice play by Clark. Collins at the line. NC State, her third school. Started at Tennessee, then a couple years at Maryland, her home state, and now at NC State. And NC State with the lead. First lead of the game for the Pack. That's another foul. This one on Collins, who picks up her first. And it sends McKenna Warnock to the free throw line. It's a 7-0 run over the last minute and a half for NC State as Lisa Bluter has a conversation with Caitlin Clark. Warnock at the line. Had a good weekend in Portland. Double figures against both Oregon State and UConn. For Warnock. Second team All Big Ten performer last season ties up the game. Clark with the pick. And she's showing there, I mean, she's got good speed. She's got really good ability.
Good speed, good anticipation. I mean, that's the thing about Caitlin Clark for the next level. It is getting better, more consistent on the defensive end of the floor. And that time knew exactly what was coming, got in the passing lane.
Many of the fans here, Carver Hawkeye, on their feet. They sit down after the shot by Collins.
But NC State now doing a much better job of attacking and then kicking for those threes. They're getting a foot in the paint, forcing a little bit of a rotation, and then getting a three after that. But you can't trade threes with Iowa.
Not when they have her, especially. Caitlin Clark with 18. Sonano battling Hobby for the rebound. Camille Hobby is kind of an underrated player. Would come in to spell Canaan last year more of a physical presence. And another whistle. Cameron Inouye, Kevin Peptel, and Bruce Morris are officials tonight.
Well, Caitlin Clark does a really good job of anticipating this. They knew the play from the scouting report. And then a score in transition, and then again, I mean, she just cannot have that much space. When you're playing Caitlin Clark, you can't afford to help. You've got to force her off the three-point line. You know she's going to score, but you want her to score going to the rim.
Cut off that time trying to go to the rim by Brown Turner, and then simply backed up, had a cup out. Very quick release, too, on that shot.
She lulls you to sleep a little bit, yeah. She lulls you to sleep a little bit, thinks she's going to attack, and gets it off so quick.
That's a foul on Warnock. The fans don't agree. That's kind of a defensive conundrum, right? With someone like Caitlin Clark, is how close do you guard her, knowing that she could, you know, she could do the pull-up, she could fade away, she could blow right by you.
I mean, look, she's going to get her points. The challenge and the goal is always to make it just as difficult as possible. When she gets it, you want her taking 25, 27 shots. You don't want her being efficient with open looks.
Brown Turner puts NC State back on top. Caitlin has 12 shots today and has made 7 of them. Sonano back on the bench for the Hawkeyes. Shot clock into single digits. Marshall needs to shoot, but she couldn't handle it. Davis able to draw iron, rebound out of bounds to the pack.
Well, it has been the Caitlin Clark show early in this ball game. Great job on the defensive end of the floor. Offensively, knocking it down from 3.
We are ready for a showdown.
We are the new kings, winning this fight tonight with our name lit up in lights. We are the new kings, this is our time to shine.
Now she is hot.
What a beautiful finish.
Coming up Sunday, 3 Eastern time on ABC. Yes, it's UConn and Notre Dame. UConn already with 3 wins against top 10 teams. They beat Iowa last weekend in Portland, and Notre Dame scoring, but they lost a heartbreaker to Maryland tonight. Diamond Miller with an absolute dagger to end the game for the Terps. And out of the timeout, Jada Boyd with the bucket. NC State has made 5 of its last 6 shots. They trailed in the first quarter by as many as 8 points. Caitlin Clark with 18 so far, but Monica Sonano has yet to score, and she's still on the bench for Iowa.
Yeah, Sonano, a little uncharacteristic early in this ball game.
Stokey with the miss as Sonano comes in and will check in at the next whistle.
If you're Wes Moore, though, you have to be happy with what you've gotten from your bench. I mean, the bench really has come in and given this team a lift. 13 points off the bench as Stokey takes the offensive foul from River Baldwin. And this is one of those things, though, even as a young player, she creates space and then she recovers right as the pass is coming. And look at where she is, left shoulder. That is a scouting report detail. And attention to detail as a young player gets you more time on the floor.
And that was a veteran move by the freshman to draw that charge. 2 fouls now on River Baldwin, and yes, Sonano back in the game, working against Baldwin. Physical down there on the post. Sonano with just 1 shot tonight, has yet to score. Marshall trying to get it to her on the bounce path, and now it's Baldwin's turn to draw an offensive foul.
Well, between River Baldwin and Camille Hobby, the level of physicality tonight with Monica Sonano is high, and just a really good job of moving her feet. There's nothing extra. She's holding her ground. They're both going at it. I think that action right there, the screen and roll situation, is how you've got to get her some touches. But River Baldwin, great job of establishing her position.
Well, all that banging, and then she draws the offensive foul on the drive. Here's Clark. Another 20-point ball game for Caitlin Clark. 8 straight now with at least 20 points, and we're still in the first half. Davis forces the turnover. Marshall's going to wait for help. Boy, Sonano and Baldwin, that's epic. And that's also 3 fouls on River Baldwin.
Caitlin Clark in transition. Again, it's really just tough to defend. You're coming up because you think she's going to do one of those heat check threes, and a great job of finishing at the rim. And she says, hey, it's loud. Let's make it louder.
Well, Baldwin, who's a very important component to try to stop Sonano, is on the bench with 3 fouls.
That is a tough matchup to officiate right there, because both players incredibly physical. Sonano initiating contact on the post-up, Baldwin holding her position, sometimes giving it back. I mean, I like the level of physicality inside, but that is a tough position to officiate.
Absolutely. Sonano gets her first point of the ball game. About 18 minutes in. Hobby now in to play the post. Rivers nailed it.
Really good. That was great poise, execution against the zone. Get the ball in the high post and work from there.
Clark with another fadeaway. She has matched her jersey number, 22, first half points.
It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
And you know,
good.
You know kind of what she's going to do, and nobody can stop it. And she's so consistent. Hobby with the nice look. 6'1" senior out of Jacksonville. First-year starter. Davis picked up her dribble. And Clark has it taken away by Rivers. NC State has made 6 straight shots.
Sanaya Rivers has been big off the bench for NC State. Offensively, she's been scoring the basketball. Defensively, now she's got a tremendous check and challenge with Caitlin Clark.
Steps by Warnock before she got going.
Well, offensively, we saw NC State working the high post position against the zone. A great inside out. Sanaya Rivers knocking down the 3. And then off the steal in transition. She's been terrific in transition, running the lane, finishing. I mean, it's important. We asked Westmore, who's going to be that spark off the bench now that Diamond Johnson is in the starting lineup? And he said, it is Sanaya Rivers. She can give us a lot.
Missed on that shot. Rivers on South Carolina team with so much talented depth, transferring to NC State, making a huge impact so far today. Clark slows things down, trying to use as much clock as possible. Coach Bluder says go. They clear out for Caitlin. Wow. Boyd with the miss. NC State, after a slow start, takes a 4-point lead into the locker room. Caitlin Clark having herself a night. 24 points in the first half. Lots of highlights, lots to talk about. Let's go to the halftime show with Monica Shawn and Hall of Famer Carolyn Peck. What in the world's going on with Monica Sonano? 1 point, 0 for 1 from the floor.
Yeah, has really not gotten a lot of touches. I think if you're the Hawkeyes, you want to try to maybe get her some touches off the move, run some brush screens for her, get her in the pick and roll with Caitlin Clark. Force the defense to help, give her some space, because NC State has done an outstanding job of being physical with her down low.
And right off the bat, Jakia Brown-Turner takes it right to Caitlin Clark.
And Jakia Brown-Turner was quiet in the first half, so establishing her early in this second half and her attacking the rim is good for NC State.
It's a lead back up to 6, and right away that had to be a concerted effort as well to get her an early shot.
No question, no question. And then a really good job of getting the ball in a position where she can just go straight to her move.
And Sonano in that loss to Connecticut only had 8 points, took 7 shots. 2 Iowa losses on the season. Brown-Turner with the miss. It's batted out of bounds. Goes to the Hawkeyes.
Well, Sonano gets good position. She can go straight into her move. I think they got to keep trying to get her touches in a lot of different ways.
Now Johnson moving into the starting lineup this year. 6th player of the year in the league last season. Hobby draws the double. Got it into the middle, and that's a really nice play by Boyd to finish.
And Camille Hobby to be able to pass out of that double team. It wasn't a clean pass necessarily, but she got it out, and Boyd was able to get 2. NC State, after they started 1 for 8, has been very efficient offensively. They've moved the ball, they've got open looks, and multiple players have knocked down big shots.
Sonano, this time bottled up, stolen by Johnson. Diamond Johnson with the miss, but Jada Boyd running the floor. Got a follow shot. Clark asking for it. They go the other way to Martin. Marshall, good look, couldn't get it to go. Hobby off of her. This is an Iowa team that was 10th in the nation in scoring coming into this game, averaging 86 points per game. But with the exception of Clark and Stuelke, they've been having trouble hitting shots. Clark picked up her dribble all the way across the floor to Warnock. Good closeout by Boyd, forced her to drive just a little bit too strong. Now a whistle. I think it's a clock issue. Yep, the shot clock did not start running. Good look at Cameron Inouye, a very good veteran official. NC State in the second quarter, Steph White, shot over 71%.
And that's the concern for Iowa when you think about potential runs deep into the tournament is defensively. Can they get it done? I mean, this is a team who is next to last in the Big Ten in defensive points per game. I mean, they have not consistently been a strong defensive team. They have been able to outscore a lot of opponents, but NC State has found their range. They're leading the ACC in three-point field goal percentage. So we're taking a look at just the clock issue. But that's the trade-off. That's the trade-off, and that's one of the things that is a concern when you think about deep NCAA tournament runs.
Last year, their tournament ended early as they were upset in the second round by Creighton. Lost in the Sweet 16 to UConn the year before that. Earlier this season, Iowa scored a program record 115 points against Evansville, but as you well know, once you get into the NCAA tournament, you're playing elite teams, better defensive teams, and it's been problematic for Iowa. All right, so they're continuing to work on the shot clock, which might be frozen because it's cold outside. But when we come back, we're going to take a look at a great finish that just happened in South Bend. What a game that preceded us. Maryland at Notre Dame. Olivia Miles just hit a shot to tie it up. Waning seconds of the fourth quarter. Diamond Miller with the fadeaway knocks it down, and the Maryland Terrapins quiet what had been a very noisy Joyce Center. That's a big win for Maryland. Kevin Durant, who is from Prince George's County in Maryland, tweeted about Diamond Miller. You were killer for that Dirk fade at the buzzer. Good win for the Terps. KD watching that game.
That Dirk fade at the buzzer, that was exactly that Dirk fade, and big time shot and a terrific game.
Yeah, that's a big win for Brenda Freeze. Lost some players to the transfer portal. Hobby and Warnock get tied up. Ashley Owusu now playing down at Virginia Tech. Warnock called for the foul, her second. Kate Martin, Gabby Marshall are starters who have yet to score for Iowa.
And Kate Martin coming off that 20 points, 6 of 6 from the three-point line against Connecticut.
And Martin was on fire. Those 20 points was a career high. College football still going strong. Conference championship Saturday begins at noon Eastern with 3 games on ABC. Sunday on ESPN at noon Eastern, the exclusive reveal of the final college football rankings as we get ready for the playoffs. And McKenna Warnock, has just picked up her 3rd personal foul. So the freshman Stuelke, who had 6 points in the first half, comes back in. Hobby with the miss at the line. There's a good look at Warnock. Very important player for this Iowa team. Hannah Stuelke, the true freshman, coming in. This is the biggest lead of the night, 7 points for the Pack. And then Hobby took it away as they tried to get it in to Sonano.
I mean, you cannot say enough about Camille Hobby and River Baldwin's effort on the interior. And what a catch by Jada Boyd in transition. That was not an easy catch, and she made it look easy.
So we're 3 minutes into this quarter, and Caitlin Clark has just taken one shot and has not scored, and Stuelke, who just checked in, got fouled.
Well, NC State has done a really good job in transition, pushing right here. Jakia Brown-Turner finds Jada Boyd, and look at the ability to catch, to stay on balance, and to finish.
13 points off turnovers now for Westmore's team. Here's Stuelke at the line, a freshman from Cedar Rapids, where she went to Washington High School. That's where the Freeze family went. Brenda Freeze, the head coach at Maryland. Of course, Stacy Freeze, sister Marcia as well. And also Katie Abrahamson Henderson. Coach A.
That's right.
Down in
Coach
Georgia.
A, yep.
So Washington High and Cedar Rapids doing some things. Really good women's basketball players coming out of that, becoming coaches. And Stuelke is next in line. The Iowa High School Player of the Year last year, stayed home to play her college ball, and there's JBT.
I like the aggressive Jakia Brown-Turner. I think there are times in a game where she sometimes disappears and she'll settle for just being a shooter, but she has the ability to get to the rim using that length, using that athleticism.
That pass was too tall for Sonano, but a foul has been called on NC State to bail out what would have been a turnover.
Well, this is just a really good take, and she shoots over the top of Kate Martin. Jakia Brown-Turner can be, and likely will need to be, a go-to scorer consistently for NC State. I mean, she's averaging double figures. She started out slow this season, but has picked it up. We saw that last year as well. Started out a little bit slow, picked it up as the season went on.
And she really struggled early in the ACC season, but as you mentioned, came on very strongly. And it was interesting, Wes Moore said, you know, she's the only returning starter. You look at her night so far, but she had so much talent around her. He said it's like going from a #3 seed to a #1 seed, like in tennis. More is expected of you.
More is expected of you. She's going to be number 1, 2, or 3, certainly on the scouting report. But she has the ability to diversify her game a little bit more than she's shown.
Neil Hobby, I'm sorry, just forced another turnover.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, her defensive effort has been outstanding. Nothing coming easy for Monica Sonano, who is one of the best at getting position before the catch. And Hobby's activity level has been terrific.
Sonano averaging 11 shots per game. She's only gotten off 2 in this one.
And she hadn't gotten a lot of touches.
It is a 10-point lead for the Pack, trying to send Iowa to its 3rd loss already. And here we are, just the 1st of December.
Well, in each of those losses, Iowa has had a poor quarter where they have been heavily outscored against Kansas State in the 4th quarter, 3rd quarter against UConn, 2nd quarter here tonight against NC State.
Clark drew the foul. That's the 2nd on Boyd, and now Caitlin Clark heads back to the free throw line. Just her 2nd trip. She's 2 for 2 so far. Clark on top of everything else, an excellent free throw shooter. The crowd getting into it now in Iowa City. Their team down 8. Johnson guarded by Molly Davis. And there's a foul. They get Brown-Turner, who is going to the glass, trying to get the rebound along with Caitlin Clark. Sonano going out in favor of Addison O'Grady, who got a couple of minutes back in the 1st half. Monica Sonano scored an early bucket here in the 3rd quarter. Just has 3 points on 2 field goal attempts. Does have 7 rebounds. And another giveaway. Johnson to Brown-Turner, beautiful.
Diamond Johnson has done a really good job of managing this game. When they needed her early, she attacked as O'Grady hits that pull-up jumper. And in this 2nd half, dictating tempo.
ball movement by NC State to find the open player. Stolke committed the foul. Timeout in Iowa City. NC State with an 8-point lead.
Wolfpack with an 8-point lead, due in large part to their defensive energy and effort. Sanaya Rivers picks Caitlin Clark, gets in transition, but the activity level, particularly on the inside, defending Sonato inside, getting out in transition, getting different looks, mixing it up. Early, Iowa getting a lot of easy looks, and NC State, about midway through that first quarter, turned it up on the defensive end, and it changed the momentum of the ball game.
There you see the last couple of seasons, Iowa under 500 against ranked teams. They most recently lost to UConn, losing now to NC State. When we talked to Lisa Bluter after shoot-around this morning, you asked her, what's your biggest concern? And right away she said defensive transition. And we have seen that that should have been a concern.
Yeah, she said she was happy with it for the most part against Connecticut, but she really discussed NC State and their ability to stretch the floor in transition from the three-point line, but they've really hurt them with their rim runs and getting points into paint.
Inadvertent buzzer this time.
Clocks were frozen, now the equipment's frozen.
Yes. Second time we've had some issues over there at the scorer's table. NC State for the game shooting over 50%. Done a good job of shutting down the three-point line for Iowa as well. Caitlin Clark just with a couple of them. So we remind you that there's more women's basketball coming your way. The 21st Annual Women's Jimmy V Classic is Sunday on ESPN2. It's Virginia Tech in Knoxville to take on Tennessee at 1 Eastern, noon Central. Then on ABC, number 7 Notre Dame hosting number 3 UConn. And remind you, if you want to donate to the V Foundation for Cancer Research, go to v.org/donate.
I'm looking forward to that UConn-Notre Dame matchup. Now, UConn, a team that we didn't really know how they would be without Paige Beckers and Ice Brady going down, and then the injury to Dorka Juhas, but they have been quintessential UConn. Multiple players stepping up. Aaliyah Edwards has been terrific. Of course, AZ Fudd doing AZ Fudd things.
AZ Fudd held to just 2 points in the first half against Iowa last weekend in Thanksgiving. And I asked Lisa Bluter what happened because she got 22 in the second half, and she said just basically AZ
She's
became
good.
AZ. Yeah,
she's good.
Basically what you say about Caitlin. She's good.
Right, she's good. You're not going to hold him down forever.
Sonano back in the game. Caitlin Clark with the miss. So Clark and Sonano in this quarter have only taken 3 shots. Caitlin's 0 for 2 from the floor. Sonano, remember, hit that layup early. That's the only shot she's taken since the break.
And in that same Connecticut game, Caitlin Clark was cold in the third quarter in that matchup as well, and that is when Connecticut made their run.
Under 4 minutes to go now in the third. Taken away, Sonano. Davis in the game. Transfer from Central Michigan. That's definitely a foul. Clark at least getting chances at the free throw line in this quarter.
And I like that. She struggled a little bit, hasn't felt in rhythm, so now get opportunities at the foul line. Find other ways to put points on the board.
Three assists from hitting the 25, 5 rebound, 5 assist mark. Lengthening her lead over Sabrina Ionescu in that category. And Sproul keeps trying to will Iowa back into the game, needing some defense. Hobby working on Sonano and finishes with her offhand.
Camille Hobby's numbers don't jump off the stat sheet, but she has been impressive. her positioning on the defensive end, her work on the defensive end. Really good passing out of a double team, and that time going one-on-one.
Clark has it cup out. Probably the understudy to Elisa Cunane the last few years. Coach's kid. Her dad is a coach in the National Football League, but does a lot of the nice things for this team.
Yeah, she really does. She is a go-to on the block, and here one-on-one, no double team comes, and she goes to work. And defensively, just an outstanding job of being physical. You see the fundamental box out that allows her team to get the ball and initiate the break.
That's a tough pass. And Sonano, good defense. Rivers with room.
Again, Diamond Miller on the break and really just doing an outstanding job of facilitating, finding her open teammates.
Iowa is now facing a 12-point deficit as we take another timeout. Welcome back to Iowa City, where NC State is rolling right now against the Hawkeyes. Sanaya Rivers, the South Carolina transfer, coming in and doing what Diamond Johnson did last year, and that's give NC State points off the bench. Gabby Marshall still hasn't scored, and that foul goes against Iowa. Sonano just picked it up. That is her third.
I don't like that call. I think Sonano did a really good job of holding her position. Of course, I get the benefit of the second look, but you know, I think she holds her position right here. Oh, you can see her right there coming underneath, so that is a good call.
A little grabby.
Yep.
On the arm, and we saw Bruce Morris there in position, but 2 games in a row now. Jan Jensen on the left, who's a terrific post coach for this Iowa team. 2 games in a row now that Sonano has been neutralized. I'll be back at the free throw line. Point deficit, the largest that Iowa has faced all year. Lost to UConn by 10, which was their biggest lead. Clark taking matters into her own hands. Gets fouled again.
And there were times in Caitlin Clark's career, and even in the last matchup against Connecticut, where when she struggled from the floor, she still continued to take bad shots, long threes, jump shots. There's a difference tonight, and she told us she went back and she watched the film, and what she took from that was that she had to find different ways to score. And so now she's not making shots, but she's getting to the free throw line, and we know that's money for her.
Clark was 10 of 15 from the floor at the half, has cooled off considerably. But still, she's got herself 30 points. Her second of the season, had a season-high 33 against Belmont. 13th time in her career she has had a 30-point game. River Baldwin, short, Sonano board. Sonano, good position this time against Baldwin. Had to work hard to get that shot off.
That was a heck of a shot by Monica Sonano. The degree of difficulty was high. And she dives down in for position. Back to the basket. Yeah, it looks like she shuffled that pivot foot a little bit, but she is known for that step through, but that was a tough, tough finish.
Yeah, she looked like she was totally cut off. Brown Turner, nothing but net.
And that shot is just so pretty.
Baldwin, good position on the rebound that time for the Florida State transfer. out on the perimeter. Called on Taylor McCabe. The inaugural Basketball Hall of Fame London Showcase is Sunday from O2 Arena as Michigan takes on number 19 Kentucky. Coverage starts at 1 Eastern. That is 6 p.m. local time in London on ABC and the ESPN app. Diamond Johnson at the free throw line. She has not scored in this half, does have 6 rebounds and 3 assists. First-year starter, who began her career at Rutgers. Minute to go in the third quarter. Warnock finally got a 3 to fall. She had missed her first 3 from out there. Rivers, good look, great result. Rivers quiets the crowd.
That is a big-time shot by Sanaya Rivers, a player who didn't get a ton of time. You mentioned the depth chart in South Carolina, but has come in and has embraced this spark role coming off the bench for Westmore.
Shot clock is off for Caitlin Clark. Warnock fouled by Mimi Collins out on the perimeter.
Well, they worked on that in practice today, and Westmore talked about Mimi Collins having to get over the top. You know when that screen, on-ball screen happens, you have to get over the top, and that time just too physical.
Marshall comes in for McCabe. Defensive substitution, Stolke will come in. Warnock knocks it down. So this is a move to get Warnock off the floor. He's playing with 3 personal fouls. Sonano also has 3. Rivers with the miss, but Kate Martin went down after a collision. And that's what the crowd here is upset about. No call as we end the third quarter.
This is one of those plays, though, where your post player has got to tell the guard that the screen is coming. She backpedaled 3 or 4 times. Jakia Brown-Turner has been terrific in the third quarter for the NC State Wolfpack. She has 8 points, and she's really gotten it done in a lot of different ways. They're in transition. She's been attacking the paint, which I think she has the ability with that length and athleticism to do more of, and knocking down jump shots.
And Caitlin Clark in the first half against UConn, their last game, very different in the second half. Same here in the third quarter, 6 points, all of them from the free throw line for Clark, who has 30 points tonight. Second time this season she's hit it. But NC State has done a good job defensively as Caitlin gets her first field goal make of the second half to start the fourth quarter. Pam Ward and Stephanie White joining you from Iowa City, where the fans time and time again have been trying to get their team to clamp down on defense.
Each time this league gets inside of 10, this crowd comes alive, and NC State has had the answer.
Johnson guarded by Marshall. Good perimeter defender for Iowa. Shot clock really skinny. The extra pass. Rivers, what a game! Sanaya Rivers is crushing her previous career high in points, which had been only 9. She has doubled that. Clark's first 3 of the second half. Can't keep trading baskets, right?
No, you cannot. You've got to find ways to get defensive stops if you're the Hawkeyes.
JBT In the lane, the fans wanted a 3-second call. Instead, they got a miss. Clark from the logo! Nailed it! Caitlin Clark with her signature move, but they can't stop Johnson on the other end.
Well, you better be careful. There might be another one coming right here.
Here she goes.
You can see it when she's got the ball in her hands and the look in her eye. Run up, rhythm 3.
Four-point game. 6-point game. Johnson with back-to-back buckets after Clark hit a 3. Another one from the logo. That one ticked off. This place was going to go crazy if it went in. But here's a couple of big shots.
Well, you could see and you could sense that she was starting to feel it again. And right here, the rhythm dribble. You can always tell the logo 3 and then in transition again. She gets it out of that left hand and it's money.
Caitlin Clark, over 40 points tonight. 41 to be exact. Oh, and a blocking foul now called on Clark. Her second.
Well, Sanaya Rivers has been terrific here tonight, and here just aggressive, and you can see getting the foul with the knee, Caitlin Clark.
Well, the replay, you could see that she extended that left leg out just enough to get the call.
And in credit, Sanaya Rivers for the angle that she took to create that contact.
Brown Turner around Kate Martin, too strong, but River Baldwin cleans up over Sonano.
River Baldwin had 7 offensive rebounds against West Virginia in the Cancun Challenge and gets a big one right there.
Too much contact on Sonano that time. Another foul on Baldwin. That is her 4th. So she goes out and Camille Hobby comes back in. Hobby has done a good job on Sonano. And Camille is playing with 2 personal fouls. Clark picked up her dribble, tried to get it into Warnock, who couldn't handle it. Rivers, Hobby, taken away by Warnock. Clark asking for the ball, but Gabby Marshall bringing it up. Clark now directing traffic, guarded by Rivers. Sonano wants it, and they're going to get Hobby for the hold. That's 3 on her. Don't know what that was.
Looked like he blew the whistle to give Westmore a warning.
But it wiped out a basket.
Sure did.
Marshall passed up the 3. Martin, finally, her turn to score, coming off the career-high 20 against UConn. Johnson, answer every time.
I don't think you can go underneath that double screen with Diamond Johnson. She lives for these moments, as does Caitlin Clark on the other end.
Caitlin Clark with 43, 3 off her career high. Had 46 in a game at Michigan last year. Marshall just committed a foul for Iowa. Iowa just is not getting enough stops on defense. Caitlin with 43. Most by a Division I player so far this year. Just 3 off her career high. But once again, Diamond Johnson breaks a lot of Hawkeye hearts.
And Pam, again, the game management by Diamond Johnson. They needed her early, and she scored. Then she got everybody else involved, and now in this moment, she is embracing that role, and she is knocking down big shot after big shot.
And literally answering. Every time Iowa gets a big shot, they got to within 4. NC State has come down and taking the momentum right back. 3 on Marshall. Every time Iowa gets close, the Wolfpack have an answer. 8-point lead, just under 5.5 minutes left to go. Madison Hayes back in for the Pack. Hobby, little spin move. Hello, Camille Hobby. Ten-point advantage, Warnock. 3-ball. Boyd. Mismatch there with Sonano. Shot clock into single digits. Boyd gets it back. Tough shot.
Yes, it was. A hand in the face.
Clark gets it over to Warnock. Sonano continuing to have a long night, but that's the thing of beauty. Kate Martin with the finish.
Oh my goodness, that pass just when it didn't look like there was any daylight.
Star that assist for Warnock. Inside 4 to go. Diamond Johnson driving on Davis and drawing the foul.
Hey, Diamond Johnson is from Philadelphia, and she has been the answer for the Wolfpack. You can't go underneath her. She's going to knock that down. You like that, Pam?
I got that little Iverson, Iverson action.
And then the back door, Kate Martin. And Caitlin Clark is like, come on, let's go. We need you. We're seeing a pretty special performance from Caitlin Clark. 43 right now. She was cold for a little while in the third quarter and then started heating up. And that's the highlight reel right there. The logo threes, 3 in transition from long distance. But the Wolfpack have had answers every single time. And Diamond Johnson's been special.
And this is going to be a headline grabber. Caitlin right now with 43 points, as it should. Most points so far by any woman in D1 this season. 3 off her career high. But you have to give credit to this NC State offense. Since the second quarter began, they're shooting 66% from the floor. 66, and they have answered. Every time Caitlin comes down and hits a big shot or someone else for the Hawks, Wes Moore's team answers. Every time.
And they're spreading the wealth. They got 28 points from the bench. Everybody's getting involved.
You mentioned Diamond Johnson. She now has 20 points for the game. That is a new season high.
And she's had the ball in her hands at crunch time whenever they needed an answer. And she's made the right play.
Clark's got 45 now, but they got to play some defense. Johnson. Didn't work the first time for Boyd, but she followed her own shot. Warnock dribbling into the teeth of the defense and draws a foul. Boyd just picked up her 3rd.
there's Caitlin Clark going to the rim. Iowa's done a good job of getting to the foul line, of attacking the paint, but again, you go back to NC State and just their ability to have an answer. And I go back to Diamond Johnson and her decision-making during this time. She's playing up top in the two-man game. She's taken over scoring when she has needed to, and she has made the right pass at the right time.
1 out of 2 for Warnock. Diamond Johnson, when we talked to Coach Wes more about her now as a starter, her assist to turnovers coming into this game were ridiculous. Just 29 assists and 9 turnovers coming into this game. But wondered, and not wondered, knew she certainly had the ability, Rivers with the miss, but getting other people involved, and she's done, I'm sure he's going to be pleased that she's done that tonight. Warnock can't finish.
It's a missed opportunity right there for Iowa in transition. And now you've got to be able to string together back-to-back stops. They've had a hard time stringing together one stop, let alone multiple in a row.
Hobby over Sonano. Clark on the run. Got that look in her eye. Tried to get it into Sonano, but it hit the back of Rivers' leg and has been ruled a kick. So Iowa holds on to the ball. Sanaya Rivers, terrific game off the bench. (19 points for her, 5 assists. Caitlin, that would have been a new career high had that shot gone in. (45 of their 77 points from Caitlin Clark. Inside 2 minutes, Johnson, Boyd, another big offensive rebound.
Got to finish plays on the defensive end, and Jada Boyd is one of those players that always seems to come up with those big O boards.
Marshall tried to force the turnover. Johnson, short, rebound, Johnson, follows it, got it! Diamond Johnson with what is the dagger. Iowa less than a minute and a half away from its 3rd loss of the season. This is a team that came into the season ranked number 4 in the preseason poll by the Associated Press, highest since 1994, back in the Vivian Stringer era. Martin has been off all night. Boyd just wanted it more. They wanted a tie-up. Probably should have gotten it, right?
Yeah. But you got to give NC State a ton of credit right here. I mean, what they've been able to do in terms of their execution on the defensive end and offensively as well. The concern for Iowa has been the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah.
Can you get stops when you need to? When you're playing a team that is scoring at the rate that you're scoring, can you come up with those stops? And tonight, NC State has executed better on both ends.
Rivers heads to the line. And this is a tough place to play. Great crowd. In fact, the crowd tonight, 8,250, their biggest crowd of the season. They're expecting over 10,000 Wednesday, a sellout. Little team from Ames is coming to town. Iowa State, Iowa. This place is going to go crazy. Hometown girl, Ashley Jones, Iowa City native, the star for Iowa State. And I mean, it's always a great rivalry anyway.
Yes, it is.
This year, it's going to be insane. This is the last year for Jones, who did come back to use her final year of eligibility for the Cyclones. Minute to go. Nice move by Warnock to get back to the line, but Iowa is about to fall for the 2nd straight game. Losing to UConn in Portland, and now NC State. They go to Wisconsin for their next game. NC State goes to Georgia, which is a really interesting matchup, but this Iowa team just steamrolled by NC State. 4 players in double figures. Diamond Johnson at 22. Sanaya Rivers with a career-high 20. Shooting 55% for the game. And almost 70% again since the end of the first quarter. Very impressive for the Pack.
Absolutely. And talking to Wes Moore and him discussing this team and how they've got to find a way to come together. We saw him do more teaching in one shoot-around today than we probably saw all of last year, because he had a lot of experienced players, and there are players new to the system. There are players with new roles. Sanaya Rivers has been special today, and the leadership of Diamond Johnson has been terrific. And she's a quiet leader. He said she's not real vocal. She leads by example, but she has been more vocal here tonight.
And it is a rarity, a quiet Philadelphia basketball, a quiet Philly kid, right? Lets her game do the talking. She has been terrific.
A lot of great point guards coming from Philadelphia.
A little bit. Dawn Staley was pretty good.
Yeah, she was all right.
But this is a great win for NC State, putting 90 up. And they're going to win this game, even though Caitlin Clark has 45 points.
Well, they've just been really good, executing offensively, getting exactly what Coach Wes Moore wants, sharing the basketball. Sanaya Rivers terrific off the bench and in transition. Jada Boyd with the outstanding catch and finish.
NC State trailed by 4 points after the first quarter, in which they only scored 13, but since then, they have been terrific. Clark gets another bucket. She'll have a new career high. That one ticks off the glass. Warnock chases her down to get the foul, but not enough time left for the Hawkeyes. Monica Sonano, a very quiet game. 5 points only. Let's go back to Monica McNutt in the studio. We'll hear from the studio shortly as Brown Turner knocks down the shot. Timeout taken. Iowa down by 13. I told you we'd hear from Monica. Let's go to her now.
Why, thank you, Pam. Coming up next, right here on E2, we got Pac-12 action for Sean Farnham, who's in the building with us. You're checking out Jaime Jaquez of UCLA, hoping to help his Bruins get a win over the Cardinals.
Thank you, Monica. So much more great basketball on your way on this Thursday night, the 1st of December.
It's hard to believe, right? It's going fast.
Santa's coming in 3 weeks.
That is right.
It'll be a happy plane ride back for this Wolfpack club. Rivers playing to the last whistle. What a pickup. South Carolina transfer. Last time NC State beat a road team in the top 10, Indiana, last year in the ACC Big Ten Challenge.
That's right. Went into Indiana and upset the Hoosiers. And Sanaya Rivers has had a breakout game. She has been really impressive. Terrific in transition, knocking down jump shots, her energy on the defensive end of the floor.
Dangerous team, NC State. Just one loss on the season. Again, that was to UConn, convincingly. Losing on the road, 91-69. This will be Iowa's 3rd loss, losing at Kansas State, to UConn in Portland, and now to NC State at home. The clock has underperformed tonight. Very disappointed.
That is accurate.
The clock. Gabby Marshall misses. Warnock stopped by Camille Hobby. Camille Hobby's had a game.
She's had a great game. Defensively, she has been outstanding. Double-figure score for NC State.
Good defense on Sonano as well. She and River Baldwin combining to frustrate Czinano. Second straight game now that Czinano has had subpar numbers. You know, Leah Edwards, you referenced that earlier. Leah Edwards is going to be fantastic. She's already really good for UConn, and second game in a row now that Czinano has put up un-Czinano-like numbers.
Well, the level of physicality on the interior and the combination of Camille Hobby and River Baldwin, you know, it can wear on you. Right? It can wear on you, and you mentioned it just being uncharacteristic, and the Hawkeyes are going to have to find a way to get her back on track.
The NC State Wolfpack going to go to 9-1 on the season. The Hawks drop to 5-3. Caitlin Clark, 45 points. Just one off her career high, but not enough. NC State shredding this Iowa defense with 94 points. They take it 94-81. Rivers and Johnson each with 22 points. Caitlin Clark, always worth coming to see. 45 points. She'd rather get the win, but instead they